Hi, my name is Brandon Chevrolet and I'm with Elite Moving Labor, and today we're going to discuss a very basic topic, which is how to pick up a moving box. This particular moving box is a large box, so it's relatively light. It's about 15 to 20 pounds or so, and really what we want to show is how to do it without hurting yourself. And believe it or not, a lot of people don't do it correctly. What a lot of people will do, which is improper, is they will bend at the back, which of course will cause back strain, picking up the box like this. And the problem with that, of course, is that eventually, especially if the box is heavy, your back will begin to hurt, and you could cause a bunch of different problems, really. The correct way to do it would be to stand about shoulder width apart, fairly close to the box itself, and then the real difference though is bending with your knees, not with your back. So you'll bend down, make sure you get a good grip underneath the box so your whole hands are there, not just your fingertips, and then you'll lift with your legs, keeping your back straight, and then when you're ready to put it down, the exact same procedure. Small boxes are made for heavier items. They're easy to carry. Most importantly though, when filling up a small box, make sure you fill all the way to the top so that nothing gets crushed. As you can see, we've filled this box all the way to the top. It's heavy, but it's completely full, giving it a nice seam. It's easy to carry, and it's ready to go. Unlike what we did with the small box and the heavier items, this is the exact opposite. It's a large box that is not well done at all. It's an incredibly heavy large box, and it's by no means filled to the top, as you can see here. Now, this is not how it should be done at all, because number one, it can get crushed not being filled to the top, but more importantly, if you go to pick it up, it's off balance, very difficult to carry, and when you put it into the truck, it'd be likely to be crushed. Not only that, your movers probably won't be very happy. Speaking of being crushed, this is what happens if you don't fill your boxes the entire way. The structure breaks down, it's not strong enough to support whatever's sitting on top of it, and eventually, whether you're driving cross country or you're going to storage, this box will break down and whatever's inside will be crushed. After you've finished filling up your boxes all the way, the next thing you want to do is close your box. Good old-fashioned packing tape is the best way to go for a good close. It keeps the box secure, and it gives it a good, strong hold. On the opposite side of that is cross-folding. Now, we've all done it. The problem with cross-folding is that it compromises the structure of the box, of course, and when you put a normal box on top of it, it's all off balance. If you get enough of these going vertically, of course, they could fall over in transport or whether you're in storage, and your stuff could break, and you sure don't want that. A very important moving tip that a lot of people don't cover is shrink wrap. Not just the shrink wrap itself, but the use of shrink wrap. A lot of people think that shrink wrap is necessary for pretty much everything in the home, but that's not really the case. The reality is that shrink wrap has two primary uses. The first one being that if you have furniture pads or paper pads or any sort of furniture protection, shrink wrap, of course, helps us keep those pads on place on the furniture item. The second use is if you have couches, chairs, really anything that's cloth. It allows us to keep that cloth intact without getting it dirty with with hands, sweat, any sort of water, whatever it may be. But those are the two primary uses and when shrink wrap should be used. The next and most important thing about shrink wrap is that this particular roll is a 20-inch roll, and this is a good roll. This is the kind of roll you want. Unfortunately, a lot of the most common stores sell 5-inch shrink wrap, which is about this big. Now, if you can imagine us trying to wrap this particular item here with 5-inch shrink wrap, we're going to be going around in circles for quite some time. Whereas with this 20-inch roll, just a couple times around, and we'll have this thing done. So you definitely want to get a roll of shrink wrap that's at least 18 inches or larger. There's 18, 20, 22, 24. The last point I want to touch on with shrink wrap is that although my particular wrap has a green tint to it, it is not always the best choice if you have cloth. And the reason for that is that in high heat or humidity, if it has a green tint, it can actually stain into your furniture. So if you have light colored furniture, or cloth furniture I should say, make sure that you do get clear shrink wrap and not any sort of a green tint or a blue tint to it.